Welcome to CareerClass, the definitive platform for competitive exam preparations and skill development. Today, our focus is on a key topic. In the context of UPSC, APSC, SSC, or other similar government service recruitment exams, most of the questions on the ancient Indian history originate from this section. Therefore, a comprehensive understanding of this area could significantly improve your probability of selection in these upcoming exams. So today, we will discuss on the Mesolithic period. You all are ready for today's session? And as always, keep a notebook and the pen with you so that you can note down the additional points which I'll be mentioning in class. So, are you all ready? Okay. So, আমি লাষ্ট ক্লাছত ডিসকাস কৰিছিলোঁ অন দি পেলিঅলিথিক পিৰিয়ড নহয় জানো আমি পেলিঅলিথিক পিৰিয়ডৰ বিষয়ে ডিসকাস কৰিছিলোঁ this period and can you all tell me Paleolithic period was also known as correct it's the Old Stone Age and today we'll be looking into this particular phase the Mesolithic period, which means the Middle Stone Age. হয় না নহয় এটা Mesolithic period আমি যদি দেখো এই particular flow chart টোত কোড আছে it's between the Paleolithic and the Neolithic. That is why the Mesolithic period is also called as an intermediate stage between the Paleolithic and the Neolithic. So, before we start our brief discussion on the Mesolithic period, let's first understand ki Mesolithic period to kuntu geological era belong korisile. It basically belonged to the Holocene era. Aru Holocene ortho to moi last class at ki koisilu? It is the post Ice Age period. Post Ice Age. Aru Paleolithic to apnalake nichchoy monot ase apnalokor. It was the Pleistocene. Pleistocene period. Our Pleistocene period was basically during the Ice Age. Hoy na hoy. Etia Ice Age buli kobole gole moi apnalokok eta example disilu that 2002 movie Ice Age namere hoy na hoy. Etia Ice Age the world was practically covered in ice. It was a very cold climate out there. But then now we have to understand what basically happened after the Paleolithic period. So please pay attention because ekhini apnaloke jeta buji pabo tetia Mesolithic period will be very easy for you. Etia after the Paleolithic period the climate became very dry. It became very dry. It became very humid. Aru ami borokhun dekhibole pao bahut areas of. So all these changes happen and a environmental changes khini ultimately it brought changes in flora and fauna. Eta flora fauna mane apnaloke janane Flora mane basically plant life aru fauna mane hoise animal life. So, hei gita aspects to affect korile. It humans, they saw so much changes around them. They began to adapt. Teloke adjust koribole lole to the changing climatic conditions. And humans here played very smartly. What did they do? They basically established new settlements. They developed new kinds of tools which were far better than the Paleolithic period. Then ami bahut kisuman changes dekhibole pao in the pattern of food. Then ami also dekhibole pao in the area of paintings. Nohoy jano etia paintings is a very interesting chapter. I'm sure you will love it. He karne you watch this session very carefully আপোনালোকে এক্সামৰ কাৰণে তো প্ৰিপাৰেচন হ'ব but I assure you you will love this session okay so then this is just a very brief introduction on the Mesolithic period okay etia I would like to draw your attention to this particular picture আমি বহুত কিটা activities দেখিবলৈ পাইছো নহয় জানো এই পিকচাৰ খনত হেই দূৰ দূৰণি লৈকে চাওক আমি ওয়াটাৰ বডি দেখিবলৈ পাইছো হাটস দেখিবলৈ পাইছো এইবোৰ হাটস নহয় জানো then we can see a group of people performing some tasks so look at this picture carefully and tell me what is basically going on here and by looking at this picture itself you'll have a very good idea of the Mesolithic period pictures ami jetiai sao tetia hole amar ekdom store hoi jay hetu pisor lage noy jano gotike I want you to look at this and answer so first ami dekhisu huts ebur huts hoy na noy so in Mesolithic period people basically they lived in semi permanent structures semi permanent structures mane teoloke okkomen holo he nomadic lifestyle to eri pelai they began to settle in areas for a short period of time completely nohoy olop homoy babe aru Paleolithic period ki asile they basically followed a nomadic lifestyle mane caves ot asile aru khaidor sondhanot teoloke ulai gol tar pisote he cave to eri beleg eta cave ot bach korilege but Mesolithic ot eto eta ami change dekhibole palu the semi permanent structures tar pisot ami ki dekhisu je ei huts bur they are situated close to the river bodies etia river bodies osor thaka karone tekhetokolo jothesto eta advantage hoisile karon teoluke easy accessibility to water paniu pai gol logote panir pra ami food items pau নহয় জানো মাছ সাস আমি হেনুকা ধৰণৰ খাবলে পাও বস্তু গটিকে তেউলকৰ দুটা পারপাস একেলগে সার্ভ হৈ গল now we come to this particular portion we can see a group of people out here নহয় জানো what are they doing etu ki dekhisen apnaloke very interesting creature out here this is basically a fish aru teoloke etu kati pelai teoloke puri khabo aru this fishing developed as a form of activity during the Mesolithic period very very important hunting and gathering to asile agote Paleolithic period nohoy jano but a particular change to ahile in the Mesolithic period and it continued so apart from the settlements apart from the food we can also see what is this a tool right eto eta tools became a bit more refined and polished hobole dhorile tools bur finer tools small tools karon small tools to apnaloke lagiboi nohoy jano karon jetia apuni eta dangor pathor loy by the time it reaches the target he particular animal to sun doriboi polai jabo sinor pra he karone Mesolithic period this people they developed finer and smaller tools jate teuluke target to directly hit koribo pare you got it right so that are some of the innovations technological innovations which happened during the Mesolithic period then we move on to this slide eti apnaloke already by gompale je Mesolithic period basically means the middle stone age and it was a intermediate or transitional period between the Paleolithic and the Neolithic period thik ase so I hope you have got a very good introduction on the Mesolithic period now we will look into the details very carefully and you all note down the additional points. So this is the index. Ami ki discuss korim ajir session tut. Firstly, we will look into the salient features of the Mesolithic period. Tar bisot ami sam India junkhini Mesolithic sites ase ami locate koribole try korim in the map. Then ami sam ki teoloke stone implements use korisile during this Mesolithic period. And we will also look into the paintings. Paintings moi apnalokok agote koisu je is jeta paintings bot ami apnaloke variations bot dekhibo, you will be amazed to know and realize ki how far humanity or humans have evolved throughout the ages. Change is the law of nature buli koi na hoy jano. Gotike humans also began to change along with the changing environmental conditions. Tar bisote ami sam on the subsistence patterns and food. Teloke keneke bak korisile, kot bak korisile, ki khaisile. And this is very important. The sites and their activities. This is very, very crucial for your upcoming exams. Karon teoloke jothesto questions sites opor khudhe. Teoloke khudibo je rice cultivation ba animal domestication ami early evidences kot pao. Etia apnaloke keneke monot rakhibo by attending this session and attending that particular slide. Like you have to just focus on that particular slide. And we'll end our session as usual with sample questions. Okay? So then we move on. I hope you all are getting. Etia salient features of the Mesolithic period. In the Mesolithic period, basically the time frame was 10,000 to 6,000 BCE, and it developed in the Holocene era. Mane ki asile hetu post ice age, when climate became very humid, when climate became very dry, borokhun hobole dhoril nohoy jano hekhini moi agote discuss korisu. Aru primary occupation to hunting asile agor pray, gathering asile, fishing also developed during this period. Aru human beings basically during this period, they began to produce finer and refined and smaller tools to kill their targets. Tar bisote another salient feature is the growth in population. This is very important. Karon a particular period tut ami dekhibole pao population to increase hoisile, logote the people began to live a very healthy lifestyle. Karon teoloke veg products consume korisile, non-veg products consume korisile. Aru healthy lifestyle huar result ki ba consequence ki? The mortality rate decreased. Manhu mora khoinkhatu jothesto komi ahile in the Middle Stone Age. Okay? Tar bisode we can also notice towards the later period domestication of animals. But domestication of animals ami ekdom last phase tut ami full fledged manner dekha pao, kintu ekdom earliest evidences mane ekdom slow traces kisuman ami dekha pao towards the end of the Mesolithic period. And lastly, we will look into the rock paintings. Moi likhisu a glorious chapter. Absolutely. Because apnaloke jetia poribo ei rock paintings khini jothesto bhal pabo. And you will see a lot of colors being used. Ami Paleolithic period bahut kom colors dekhibole paisilu, kintu Mesolithic ami dekhibole pam kiman colors teloke develop korile from natural ingredients. We can also see paintings bur variations iman precision teloke draw korisile. So that was some sort of leisure activity. Mane etia free homoyot ami jeneke belek kamot engage hoi jao nohoy jano, teolokoro free homoy kiba ta koribole lagisile. So they were basically involved in painting the cave shelters or the walls of the rocks and caves. So please note down the salient features of the Mesolithic period. Sites in India. And moi to locate korime, but I would urge you also to keep a map with you and locate them along with me. এতিয়া আমি ইন্ডিয়া ম্যাপখনত যদি চাওঁ আমি কোট সেটেলমেন্টস পাইছো Mesolithic period. It is basically in the states of Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, then we have West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. So these are the states in which the Mesolithic sites have been found. It a code exactly paise. Let's look into it. So the first place is in Gujarat, named Landnaj. It is a Mesolithic site in the state of Gujarat. Tar pisote ami second site to dekhibole paisu in this Madhya Pradesh region. Dekhise na Madhya Pradesh, Central India. Madhya Pradesh or kot paisu ami Bhimbedka. Bhimbedka dekhibole paisu. Bhimbedka apnaloke jane it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site aru famous for its rock paintings. Ami ya portu eta dhunia session eta korim. In fact, RJ session today we will look into the Bhimbedka paintings, okay? Tar pisode there is another site in MP known as Adamgarh. Etia Adamgarh ei karone special hoi pore karon yate the evidence of domestication of animals pua hoise. Earliest evidence of domestication of animals, Adamgarh. Then we move on to the third site. The third site in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradeshot bahut kita asolete Mesolithic sites ase. You can note it down. One is Chopani Mando, Sarai Nahar Rai. Then we have another site known as Mahadaha. Aru Damdama. Please note it down. Very, very important and crucial. Chopani Mando, Sarai Nahar Rai, Mahadaha and Damdama in the states of Uttar Pradesh. Okay? So I hope that is clear. Tinikhon state ami salu, then we will move on to the other states. Okay. So number 4 now. Fourth, we can see a site in the state of West Bengal. Quote, West Bengal. West Bengal etia ami site to hoise Birbhanpur, a very important site, in fact a Mesolithic site. Tar pisote ami ahisu towards the state of Orissa or Odisha. Yate Mesolithic site ami paisu aru he Mesolithic site to naam hoise Kuchai. Please note it down. After this, we will move on to the southern portion of India. Kot koisilu moi in the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Etia Karnatakat ami dekhibole pao eta site digholia naam. So you please note it down. Sana Gana Kallu in the state of Karnataka. And lastly, in the state of Tamil Nadu, we have another site known as Tuticorin. So these are some of the Mesolithic sites which are basically found in India, and please note it down in your copies karon etu jothesto crucial hobo apnalok exam ot di dibo pare je locate some of the Mesolithic sites in India, then you will be easily able to locate them in the map. Code paisile Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, then in the state of West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. নহয় জানো? Total of 7 actually in the state of Odisha as well. So now we'll move on, okay, to the next slide. So in the next slide we will look into the tool technologies. Etia moi apnalokok koisulu je there was a lot of technological innovations during this period. Ki kinu technological innovations, ki kinu iman stone implements ot teloke advancement korile, let's look into it. Etia Mesolithic period, basically we can see the usage of finer and smaller tools. So now we will look into the tool technologies that developed in the Mesolithic period. A lot of changes can be noticed in the Mesolithic period. যথেষ্ট technological innovations দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ, tool structure to আমি change হোৱা দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ, আৰু the Mesolithic people basically produced finer and small tools. The small tools যথেষ্ট useful আছিলে to hit the target, কাৰণ animals বোৰো বহুত swift moving আছিলে, আৰু এই small tools বোৰ তেতিয়া help কৰিলে Mesolithic people. আৰু an important innovation during this period is the bow and arrow. Eto apnaloke please note it down in your copies. The usage of bow and arrow was a remarkable innovation in the Mesolithic period. Etia coming to another innovation during the Mesolithic period, it was the use of microliths. Microliths is a very new concept for you. So let's try to understand. Etia ei microliths pur moi definition to dia agote apnaloke ei photo khon sauk. Dekhisane kiman horu horu weapons. These are basically the microliths or tiny tools. Ekdom horu asile, like it ranged from 1 centimeter to 5 centimeter. আপোনালোকে স্কেল আলত মেজার কৰি চাব পাৰে কিমান সৰু আছিল মাইক্ৰলিথিক টুলস বোৰ। আৰু এই মাইক্ৰলিথিক টুলস basically they were made from materials such as quartzite. Quartzite মনত আছে নে পেলিওলিথিক পিৰিয়ডত মই কৈছিলো যে এতিয়া আমি কারেন্টলি ইউজ কৰো ফৰ দিস কিচেন স্ল্যাব বনাবলে বা স্টেয়াৰকেস বনাবলে। So quartzite. Then we have chert. Then we have agate, chalcedony, cryptocrystalline silica. এইবিলাক মেটেৰিয়েলছে আমি মাইক্ৰলিথবোৰ তৈয়াৰী কৰিছিলো। আৰু এটা স্পেশাল ফিচাৰ আছিল about this microliths কি সৰু সৰু weapons আছিল নহয় জানো, এই সৰু সৰু weaponsত তেওঁলোকে এডাল ষ্টিক এটাচ কৰি দিয়ে, আৰু ষ্টিক এটাচ কৰি দিয়াৰ অৰ্থ এইটোৱে যে তেওঁলোকে যোনে ইউজ কৰিব এটা গ্ৰিপ পাব ধৰিবলে, আৰু তেওঁলোকে টাৰ্গেটটোক বহুত ভালদৰে হিট কৰিব পাৰিব নহয় জানো। So that is the microliths. Our microliths were basically geometric in shape or non-geometric in shape. এই দুখন পিকচাৰ আপোনালোকে যেতিয়া চাব, then you will get a very good idea of what basically the microliths looked like আৰু তেওঁলোকৰ purpose-টো কি আছিল, কিহৰ বাবে ব্যৱহাৰ কৰা হৈছিল। So clear with the microliths? Apart from the microliths, we have also other tools such as backed blade, point, trapeze, core, lunette and triangle. এইখিনিও যথেষ্ট ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট হৈ পৰে। আৰু এটা ইণ্টাৰেষ্টিং এছপেক্ট যোনটো আপোনালোকে মনত ৰাখিব is Paleolithic tools also continued in the Mesolithic period. এনেকুৱা নহয় কি Paleolithic tools বোৰ completely extinct হৈ গ'ল, usage বন্ধ কৰি দিলে নহয়। Paleolithic tools were used during this period, আৰু Paleolithic periodত আমি stone tools বোৰ কেনেকৈ obtain কৰিছিলো মনত আছে নে সেই particular process or method টোৰ কথা? It was the hit and trial. দুটা পাথৰ লৈ পেলাই তেনেকৈ তেওঁলোকে ঘঁহি ঘঁহি পেলাই এটা নতুন পাথৰ উলিয়াইছিলে। But in the Mesolithic period, we have a technique of obtaining stone tools known as the pressure flaking method. এতিয়া এই মেথডটো এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ আছিল যে তেওঁলোকে এটা ৰ মেটেৰিয়েল লৈছিলে, ডাঙৰ ষ্টোন এটা লৈছিলে আৰু সেই ডাঙৰ ষ্টোনটোৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকে প্ৰেছাৰ দিছিলে। আল্টিমেটলি প্ৰেছাৰ দিলে সৰু সৰু টুকুৰা কিছুমান ওলাই আহিবনে নাই, আৰু সেই টুকুৰাবোৰেৰে মাইক্ৰ'লিথছ তৈয়াৰ কৰা হৈছিলে। চ' ডেট ইজ দি প্ৰেছাৰ ফ্লেকিং মেথড। I hope that is clear, and we move on now to another important aspect. আৰু মই আপোনালোকক কৈছিলোঁ এই পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ টপিকটো বা এছপেক্টটো যেতিয়া আপোনালোকে পঢ়িব, you will be amazed to see how basically the humans evolved and their creativity levels basically it went up. And that is the paintings, the rock art, a glorious chapter. এতিয়া পেইণ্টিংছবোৰ আপোনালোকে চাওক, তিনিখন পেইণ্টিংছ মই ধুনীয়াকৈ ইয়াতে আপোনালোকৰ কাৰণে দিছোঁ। চ' আই ৱান্ট ইউ টু টেল মি হোৱাট কেন ইউ চি ইন দিছ পেইণ্টিংছ। কি দেখিবলৈ পাইছে আৰু ইয়াৰ ছিগনিফিকেঞ্চ বা ইয়াৰ অৰ্থটো কি? Okay, so let's try to solve the mystery of the rock paintings. In the first picture, let's concentrate on the first picture, okay? In the first picture, I mean, dekhibole paisu a lot of animals and a lot of people as well. A animal to port as on manhu bohise. Eke ami dekhibole paisu. Aru they are marching in a group. এজন যোৱা নাই কিন্তু বহুত কিজন মানুহ একেলগে গৈছে আৰু তেওঁলোকৰ হাতত আমি দেখিবলৈ পাইছো weapons. It signifies that they might be going for some war. কিবা যুদ্ধ আছে কি জানি, সেইকাৰণে তেওঁলোকে এনিমেলছৰ ওপৰত বহি weapons লৈ পেলাই গৈছে in a group. আৰু গ্ৰুপটোৰ এটা পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ টাৰ্ম আমি ইউজ কৰিছিলোঁ in the Paleolithic period, which continued in the Mesolithic as well. কি আছিল সেই গ্ৰুপটোৰ নাম? I'll give you one more hint. It consisted of 20 to 25 members. What was it called? So it's called a band. Got it? Then we move on to the second picture. Second picture khonotu ami যথেষ্ট activities দেখিবলৈ পাইছো। এটা কি কি দেখিবলৈ পাইছে বাৰু আপোনালোকে? So here we can clearly see an animal, এইটো animal, এজন মানুহ, আৰু এইটো কি? এই বস্তুটো কি বাৰু? So that is bow and arrow. Bow and arrow. আৰু যেতিয়া আপোনালোকে bow and arrow দেখিব, the first word that comes to your mind is Mesolithic period. এনেকুৱা হ'ব লাগিব। bow and arrow দেখিলে আমি গম পাম যে it belongs to the middle stone age. এতিয়া ইয়াত হৈ কি আছে আসলে এই পিকচাৰখনত? তেওঁলোকে ড্ৰ কৰি পেলাই কি সিগনিফাই কৰিছে? We can see a person out here, he is holding a bow and arrow, আৰু তেওঁ নিজকে ডিফেন্ড কৰিবলৈ ট্ৰাই কৰিছে from that animal. This animal is charging towards him, but he is trying to protect himself. Okay, very simple. আপোনালোকে চাওক এতিয়া কিমান প্ৰিচিজনত তেওঁলোকে ড্ৰ কৰিছিল এই পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ পিকচাৰখন। তাৰপিছত আহিছোঁ আমি দি থাৰ্ড পিকচাৰ। থাৰ্ড পিকচাৰ we can see an animal. দেখি পেলাই গম পাইছোঁ, but কি animal? Who can tell me? Which animal can you identify here? It is the elephant, right? Yes. So elephant is the correct answer. আৰু এই টাস্কস কিটা চাওক, এলিফেণ্ট টাস্ক কিটা চাওক কিমান প্ৰকাণ্ড। ইভেন দ্য এনিমেল ইজ কোৱাইট হিউজ। এলিফেণ্টটোকে কিমান ভালকৈ তেওঁলোকে ডেপিক্ট কৰিছে, আৰু টাস্কস কিডালটো আৰু ডাঙৰকৈ তেওঁলোকে ডেপিক্ট কৰিছে। চ' দেট ৱাজ বেচিকেলি দি ৰক আৰ্ট ইন দি মেছলিথিক পিৰিয়ড। এতিয়া আমি পেইণ্টিংছবোৰত ভালদৰে ডিটেইলত বুজিবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰোঁ আহক। দিছ ৰক পেইণ্টিংছ have been found in several sites in India, such as in the states of Uttar Pradesh, in the states of Madhya Pradesh, and in the state of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, then we have Bihar, and lastly Uttarakhand area. So you please note down these sites jot ami the rock paintings dekhibole pao. Okay, etia this rock paintings basically they provided information on the social and economic life. তেওঁলোকে কি কি কামত ব্যস্ত হৈ আছিল, হান্টিং কৰিছিল, আমি গ্যাদাৰিং কৰিছিল, বা জন্তু কিছুমানো দেখুৱা হৈছে, আৰু জন্তু বুলি যেতিয়াই কওঁ তেতিয়াহ'লে তেওঁলোকে দেখুৱাইছিলে কি কি, elephants, tigers, leopards, deer, antelope, panther, bison, rhinoceros, boars, fish. হেগিটা আছিলে animals. Interestingly, তেওঁলোকে চাইল্ড বাৰ্থৰ সিনছো দেখুৱাইছিলে. ভাবক হে চাইল্ড বাৰ্থ তেওঁলোকে কেনেকুৱাকৈ দেখুৱাইছিলে. So that is also another important aspect. And lastly, they showed the burial practices, the ceremony of burial. So these are the themes which they depicted in the shelters, rock shelters or walls of the caves. Also, you need to remember that no snakes are being depicted in the Mesolithic period. Etu apnalake note down kori lok karon it might come as a question. Aru tetia apnalake confused nohoy jate. He karone etu apnalake likhi thoi diok. Then we come to the human figures. Eta human figures or jetia ami kotha ko tetia hole male figure aru female figure. The male figures were basically depicted in stick-like forms. Stick-like forms. Etia agor picture khonole moi goisu. Eblak sauk. Etam stick-like forms nohoy janu ebur sauk. Etu sauk. Himan dekhua nai precisionat but teoloke just primitive form eta draw kori thoi dise. Then men were basically mota manhubur basically teologok eta headdress pinhai disile aru masks. Jetia apnaloke e duta item dekhibo tetia apnaloke gom pabo je okay he is a male. Aru women were depicted both in the dressed manner and in naked manner as well. Gotike egida characteristics belongs to the female figures of the Mesolithic period. And a total of 150 Mesolithic rock art sites have been found. Kot Bhimbetka caves, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Then we have Kharwar, Jaora, Sundargarh, Sambalpur in Orissa. Then Azutu Guha in Kerala and Kathotia in Madhya Pradesh. Now coming to this important point. Ki likhisu moi ate 1867 first rock paintings, Archibald Carlyle, Sohagi Ghat, Kaimur Hills, Uttar Pradesh. What does it mean? Yeah, please try to interpret the meaning of this statement. Come on. Okay, so let me tell you, this particular person, Archibald Carlyle, he was the first person who discovered the rock paintings in Sohagi Ghat, Kaimur Hills, Uttar Pradesh state of juntu ase in the year 1867. So remember this name, Archibald Carlyle. Okay, and apart from this Archibald Carlyle, there were several other persons as well who basically studied on rock art. Eta kun asile teolok? Cockburn buli ejon manhu asile, Mitra buli ejon Indian asile, Anderson asile, then we have Ghosh. So these are some of the persons associated with the field of rock art studies. Okay, I hope you got it. Aru ami je Bhimbetka kotha koi asu je Bhimbetka UNESCO World Heritage Site, earliest evidences of rock paintings have been found in the Bhimbetka caves, right, in Madhya Pradesh. So let's look into the Bhimbetka cave paintings now. What is so special about them? Eta Bhimbetka cave paintings are ami যথেষ্ট কালাৰ্স ইউজ কৰা দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ বা ইন জেনাৰেল আমি যদি মেছলিথিক পেইন্টিংছবোৰত চাওঁ আমি তিনি ধৰণৰ কালাৰ্স দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ মই ইয়াতে লিখি দিছো আপোনালোকৰ বাবে it was the white color, red color and green color. এতিয়া আমি এতিয়াৰ যুগতটো অইল পেষ্টেল ফেব্ৰিক কালাৰ বা বহুত ওয়াটাৰ কালাৰ্স তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ আমাৰ লগত আছে ফেচিলিটিজ বাট হেতু সময়টো এবলাক নাছিলে so how did they obtain this white red and green colors? They basically obtained these colors from natural ingredients. Very simple. White to copra anisile ba obtain korisile from limestone. Red copra teolke obtain korisile from iron oxide. And green copra teolke anisile baru ko paribone sauk apunalokor sari phale sauk copra ahibo pare green. It was basically from green chalcedony. Chalcedony ami hunisilu nohoy janu ei stone tools or kotha pohi thakote microliths or kotha pohi thakote so green chalcedony pura ami green color to obtain koru. Now coming to the Bhimbetka cave paintings. Etia first picture khonote ami dekhibole paisu it is basically from the Bhimbetka rock shelters. We can see a group of animals marching towards a particular direction and we can see an personality here to human form hoy etu eta represented in stick like figures teo kiba ta stone implement eya hatot loi ase dekhise yes so that is all about the picture aru etu to apunaloke jane World Heritage Site declared in the year 2003 now এই Bhimbetka rock shelters bur study kune korisile apunaloke janene kune basically brought the Bhimbetka cave paintings into light kune mainstream korile it was this particular person named Dr. V.S. Wakankar ketia in 1957 to 58 aru the oldest paintings in the Bhimbetka is 30,000 years old. Bhabok 30,000 years old kiman purana jug tetia pra humans basically knew how to draw. Creativity levels bur bhabok teonke rock paintings kora arambho korisile aru not in a very raw form ami ebur dekhisu je teonke kiman precision ot paintings bur korisile. So the history of rock art basically dates back to 30,000 years ago. Okay, our paintings basically in the Bhimbetka cave paintings or cave shelters belong to the Upper Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Chalcolithic, Early Historic and the Medieval periods. Aru yat ki depict kora hoisile? Hunting scenes, dancing scenes, music. Very interesting. Animal fighting, honey collection, household scenes, aru women preparing food. Henukwa dhornor kisman scenes teoloke dekhibole paisile. Now I'll write down something for you and tell me if you have ever heard of this term. Superimposition. Ki hoy baru e superimposition to? Bhaboksun. So superimposition basically means painting one particular scene on top of another scene. Mane itu pot itu paint kora. Superimposition. Aru ami Bhimbetka cave paintings ot jothesto superimposition ami dekhibole paisu. Yate 20 layers of paintings bhabok eta duta nohoy 20 layers of paintings on top of one another. ধেমালি নহয় গতিকে ক্ৰিয়েটিভিটি এক্সপ্ৰেছ কৰিবলৈ তেওঁলোকে ৱালছবোৰৰ ফুল ইউছেজ ফুল এডভান্টেজ লৈছিলে during the Mesolithic period in the Bhimbetka caves. Okay, so isn't that interesting? Then we move on to the subsistence patterns and food. মানে তেওঁলোকে কেনেকৈ থাকিছিলে কেনেকৈ বাস কৰিছিলে ক'ত বাস কৰিছিলে কি ধৰণৰ খানা খাইছিলে so we will look into all of this in this particular slide. এতিয়া Paleolithic period I told you they basically lived a nomadic lifestyle. Caves asile খাদ্যৰ সন্ধানত ওলাই গ'ল সেই কেভটো এৰি দিলে আকৌ এটা বেলেগত কেভ তেওঁলোকে বাস কৰিবলৈ ল'লে but in the Neolithic period they began to live in semi-permanent hut-like structures. এই পিকচাৰখন দেখিছে semi-permanent hut-like structures এইবোৰকে কোৱা হয়. Then people also began to domesticate animals, but this only happened in the later stages. আমি full-fledged mannerত আসলতে domestication of animals আমি Mesolithic period দেখিবলৈ পোৱা নাযায়. Only Neolithic period আমি full-fledged দেখা পাওঁ, but initial traces আমি দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ towards the later period of the Mesolithic period, যেতিয়া শেষ হ'বলৈ ধৰে আৰু if we look into the forms of occupation, hunting gathering developed, fishing was a new addition to the activities of the Mesolithic people. আৰু ইয়াতে মাছ কাছ মংগুজ porcupine কেটলা পহু বুলি আমি যোনটো কওঁ হৰিণা নীলগাই hare were being consumed by the people. That is the non-veg items. Non-veg. আৰু এইবোৰ হৈছে veg. Wild roots. Then we have tubers, hits, honey. সেই কাৰণে এই veg আৰু non-veg একেলগে খাইছিল বাবে people began to live a healthy life. আৰু healthy life ৰ অৰ্থত কি হ'ল মই আপোনালোকক কৈছিলোঁ নে the mortality rate began to come down. মানে মানুহ মৰা সংখ্যাটো যথেষ্ট কমি আহিলে. Also, you need to remember these two particular points. Burial. Burial মানে আমি যেতিয়া এজন মানুহ ঢুকাই যায় তেতিয়া আমি তেওঁক কবৰত ৰাখো নহয় জানো গ্ৰেভছত ৰাখো so that is the burial practices তেওঁক জ্বলোৱাও হৈছিলে বা তেওঁক কবৰত উঠোৱা হৈছিলে এতিয়া আমি কবৰবোৰ দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ এটা বডি দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ কেতিয়াবা আমি দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ multiple bodies in that single grave and the burials were basically of two types extended burial and fractional burial. I hope that is clear. Yeah. Aru etu sauk proper diet of the Mesolithic period. Eya mas dekhibole paisu. Then we can see some wild roots. Then we can see other vegetable items out here, other non-veg items out here. No, so that was the diet. And lastly, the most important part of this presentation or this session is the sites and their activities. This is very important and please pay attention in this slide. Karon, a slide 2 pra apunaloke jothesto help hobo in your upcoming exams. Etia the largest Mesolithic site kot paise Bagor. Kot ase Bagor in Uttar Pradesh, UP. Then earliest evidence of domestication of animals Adamgarh আপোনালোকে জানে মই আগতে কৈছিলো and Bagor Adamgarh and Bagor তাৰ পিছত আহিছো manufacture of bone tools and ornaments তেওঁলোকে bone tools কিছুমান বনাইছিল আৰু তাৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকে ornaments কিছুমানো তৈয়াৰী কৰিছিল আৰু ইয়াৰ evidences আমি ক'ত পাওঁ in the Mahadaha region Mahadaha okay that is done aru ami dekhibole pau the evidences of human burials kot in Langnaj which is in Gujarat Sarai Naharai which is in UP and Bagor which is also in the state of Uttar Pradesh and lastly we can see the remnants of rock paintings ক'ত দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Bihar. Easy way to remember is গম পাব যে প্ৰদেশ তিনটাটো আছে অৰুণাচলটো হ'ব পাৰে কাৰণ তাত হ'ব নোৱাৰে কাৰণ তাতে আমি দেখিবলৈ নাপাওঁ এই মেছলিথিক সেটেলমেন্টস বাট মধ্য প্ৰদেশত দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ উত্তৰত দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ আৰু আন্ধ্ৰত দেখিবলৈ পাওঁ আমি নৰ্থ সেন্ট্ৰেল আৰু মানে নৰ্থ ইষ্টাৰ্ণ কমপ্লিটলি ইষ্টাৰ্ণ ইণ্ডিয়া বুলি প্ৰিসাইজলি ক'বলৈ গ'লে then ami central India and lastly on the southern portion of the Indian subcontinent and Karnataka and Bihar are the other two sites. So let's basically now test our knowledge kinu ami iman deri pra je kolu apnalokok lecture so apnaloke kiman buji pale we will test our knowledge now. First question, where can we find the earliest evidence of domestication of animals in India? Last slide khonate asile ba map khon jetia moi locate korisilo tetiai moi apnalokok koisilo. So what is the answer out here? So the correct answer is Adamgarh, right? What is Adamgarh? In Madhya Pradesh, central India. Second question, who discovered the first rock paintings in India in 1867? Who was that person? মই জানো আপোনালোকৰ কনফিউজন কিহত লাগিছে Okay, I'll make it easy for you. Your confusion is basically between C and D, right? Eta kuntu correct option hobo. Ami thik ase etuta ami directly eliminate kori diu. VJ Child to nohoy ami hunao nai. John Marshall nohoy. Between these two, kuntu correct. First rock paintings kora sile in Uttar Pradesh, in Sohagi Ghat. The correct answer out here is yes, it's Archibald Carlyle. Aru Wakankar kuna sile? Wakankar was basically the person who discovered the Bhimbetka rock shelters. No? Okay. And lastly, the last question for today's session. Which of the following statements is false regarding the Middle Stone Age? Kuntu misa a cider statements of Hitot. Use of bow and arrow. Snakes are depicted in Mesolithic paintings. Microliths were used in this period. Bagor and Mahadaha are important Mesolithic sites. So, come on. Tell me the correct answer out here. Very easy. Salient features are gotteikhini points moi cover korisu. Even in detailed discussion as well, we have looked into all of this very precisely. So the correct answer is false statement. Yes, it's number B. Snakes are not depicted in Mesolithic paintings. Hoy na nohoy? Bow and arrow to already use hoisile. Not an innovation. Microliths, characteristic feature of this Mesolithic period. Bagor and Mahadaha, very important sites in the Mesolithic period. The only statement that is wrong and false out here is statement number B, that snakes are depicted in Mesolithic paintings, which is absolutely false. Snakes are not depicted. So, that is all for today's session. And in the next class, we will look into another important topic and the last phase of this Stone Age period. So, kune ko paribo? He topic tur naam. Yes, the Neolithic period. So that's all. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.